and gets to be with me. And Dr. Jerry Epps is one of my favorite people on the planet. He and I have lunch quite often and talk about 1,000 different things. So I'm joined here tonight by Dr. Jerry Epps, who's going to lead our meditation this evening. I was telling him how nice it was to get away from the piano and to just be in the presence of where he's going to take us tonight. He'll also be doing the dialogue with me afterwards and with all of us afterwards. But I invite you to suspend any preconceived notions of what we're going to do here this evening and allow yourself to be fully present to the miracle of now. Now is the only place where God exists, and it's the place of greatest learning. So, Jerry, welcome. I'm glad you're here this evening, and I'm going to just turn it over to you and let you take us where you will.
Here we go. Thank you for being here, and I'm honored to get to touch your heart and you touch mine as we have this experience. Everyone at home and here in the room at some point will experience a physical death. Some said the only two things for sure reliable are death and taxes, and death is the more sure of the two of those. If you had 10 minutes to meditate, or you had 10 minutes and you could take 3 minutes to read jokes and 7 minutes to meditate, which would be the most effective? I think it might be better to take 3 minutes to read jokes and laugh, and then take 7 minutes to meditate, because you'd be more likely to have a mystical experience. When our bodies and our brain are vibing higher, it's easier to have a mystical experience. We don't have mystical experiences in the frontal cortex. That's not where it happens. When we're trying to think of balancing the checkbook, or just which of those used cars should we buy for our child to go to college, or things like that that require analysis, we're not in the mystical reception state. So humor and breath are a couple of ways that we get closer to being receptive to a mystical experience that we get out of our conscious, rational, linear left brain. Now, for the left brain, I want to mention the steps we're going to go through this evening. I plan to take you through the steps of a near-death experience. I've researched it extensively, and we'll talk about that in the dialogue. But the specific steps, and I'm just going to read them, blah, 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 right now, so your conscious mind will know where we're going to go in a few minutes, and you won't have to be on guard if you know what the terrain is going to be. We're going to have you die. We're going to have you see your body. We're going to have you go into a wonderful velvety dark place. You're going to go into the light. You're going to go into the well-known tunnel. You're going to meet an old friend who's already dead on the other side. You're going to become overwhelmed with emotions of love and connection. You'll be flying again onto the greater light and finally descending back into your body. That'll take about 17 minutes once we start that. Now, in order to get a little looser, I'm going to tell a joke. And since I'm up here with Richard, I'll just make the joke about Richard. This might even be a true story. I'm not sure.
You might as well join the crowd. The rest of them like to do that as well.
Well, here we go. Richard was a little kid. He was probably 5 years old, and he got to thinking about life and its meaning. So he went to his dad one day and said, "Daddy, where do we come from? I mean, how do we get people?" His dad said, "That's a pretty big question for a little fellow like you." And Richard said, "I want to know, where do people come from?" His dad said, "Well, okay. Well, it started out, we had single-cell amoebas, and they were floating in this giant pond, and they got bigger and became more complex organisms, and they developed gills so they could take in oxygen, and then they got more and more evolved, and they got little legs where they could climb out on the bank, And finally, they turned into this frog-like things, and eventually they just kept evolving, and they finally turned into apes, and monkeys could swing through the trees and things, and then finally on to upright bipeds, humans. And Richard said, okay, thanks. And a few days later, Mother was in the kitchen, so Richard said, Mother, where do people come from? Oh, honey, that's easy. A man and woman love each other. They put a baby in mommy's tummy. 9 months later, it comes out and we get humans. And Richard said, well, Dad said something about crawling out of the slime of the pond and frogs and monkeys and apes. Oh, honey, he was telling you about his side of the family. I think that's a true story. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, that was humor. Have another little piece of humor. Sometimes people get confused, as do I, on left brain, right brain. Which is the math part? Which is the poetic part? So I have a way to handle that. Sometimes when you're doing long division, like way back in school, and at some point you have to take 3 into 17. And you think, okay, 5. It goes in 3 times. You put in the 3, you put the 15 down, under, subtract, and you have 2 left over. See, left brain, math, left, 2 left over from the math. That may not be very funny, but I thought it was awfully cute. You have 2 left over, so you must be working out of your left brain. All right. I was usually pay people to laugh, but I see I didn't get that done tonight. Well, breath. Everyone, please, at home and here, just take, we're going to do this 3 times, a slow and deep breath for breaking mental set and going in a more calm place. Here we go. One more, please. And one more. Hopefully, between the humor and the breathing, you're less in a frontal cortex place and more in an open kind of right brain place that could accommodate a mystical experience. Excuse me. We're going to go into meditation in just another moment. I'm going to start now with relaxation. So if you're doing this at home, please close your eyes. And please, here in the room tonight, close your eyes if you would. And just let relaxation come to your feet. Let the feet feel relaxation. Sit however your feet can relax. Up to your calves. They're relaxing. And let that relaxation flow right on up to your thighs. And up and into the abdomen. Up into your low back. On up into the upper back. Waves of relaxation flowing over your body. Over your shoulders, over your neck, up the back of the head, over the front of the head, down into the chest, and into your heart. And let the heart open 360 degrees along all planes. And into this heart comes the wonderful nurturance and protection and edification of eternal presence. And if we could have the music now, please. We're going to ask you, as you see the music, hear the music, see your body lying perhaps in your bedroom, on the bed, at home. And there you are, just lying there, and you're not breathing very well because you've been ill. Not terribly sick, but for some reason quite ill. And you're wafting in and out of consciousness, and you feel somebody in the room. You're not just sure who, but they're taking care of you, watching over you. Mostly you fade out of consciousness, pardon, and back in. And then at some point, strange sort of feeling in your legs and in your thighs and in your belly, and swish, swish, pressure, shoo, and you pop right out the top of your head. You're outside of your body, looking down at your body. Wow, how did that happen? There it is. It's not all that emotional. You just see that's your body shell down there, and you're just looking at it, and before you know it, swish again, a shift in energy. Oh, and you're cradled inside this wonderful bed of dark, velvety, nurturing, meeting every need, so comforting energy. How lovely this space. Nothing has ever felt this good before. Oh, I love it. This must be the womb of creation. This is so special. I wonder what I did to deserve to get to be so loved. In this darkness, I could stay forever. This is the most beautiful place I have ever been. I have never felt so cradled in all of my life. I am the child of every mother. I am held so tenderly. This is absolutely wonderful. I love it here. Oh, as I stretch and feel into this, it is exquisite. And then, oh, there's a point of light. What's that light? A little point. Oh, it's coming closer. Oh my, the light's growing brighter. Yeah, oh, it's kind of like a white cloud, and seems like the big open end of a funnel. Whoa, and I feel myself being pulled into the funnel. I'm being pulled into the funnel. Oh my, this is the tunnel they talk about. I'm in the tunnel of light. Whoa, am I moving fast? So fast. Wow, man, this is something. And oh, it's starting to get beautiful. Everything is sparkling. This is fantastic. This is wonderful. Oh, wow. Oh, and oh, I'm in some kind of wonderful platform of light, and I feel like I'm supposed to turn and look to my right. Oh, and there is someone who's already passed over, someone who died before. It's an old friend or relative, somebody you really liked. It may be an uncle or a nephew who died early, or a scoutmaster, or school teacher, or minister, or neighbor, or grandma. It's somebody really special to you. Wow. Oh. And you just telepathically radiate, it's good to see you, back and forth to each other. They look so radiant and healthy. My goodness, so fresh and vital and alive. And then they intimate that they want to tell you one thing. They're allowed to give you one sentence message. So you lean forward to be sure to catch it. And I'll be quiet while they give you the message. Oh, so special. Thank you. And then they fade quickly away, and you look to the left, and there comes a light, a bigger light. It's not the God light, but whoa, it's very powerful, coming closer and closer, and so potent. This light is really something. And you know it's your guide light. You know that this light is coming to guide you. And soon this light is right beside you. Oh, it is so good to be with. I feel connected to everything. This light sets off a love in me like I have never known before. Oh, this is special. Oh, I love this light, and this light loves me. And wow, my goodness, I'm connected. I feel like I'm connected to every rabbit or dog or squirrel or bird or fish worm or person living in China or Asia or Indonesia or Russia, or I feel connected. So oh my goodness, of course it's my natural state. I'm one with all life. This is beautiful. And then with a kind of nod from the guide light, you suddenly see the screen, and it's the movie of your life. Clip after clip after clip. But it's not the earthly important things. It's not when you were nominated by Junior Achievement, or when you became an Eagle Scout, or when you got that well-known promotion. It's the little things. It's like the time you were at a cocktail party and a friend came up and with a worried look said, I really need to talk to you, and you didn't really want to talk to them, and you moved away and ignored them, and the light doesn't judge you. It just says, and what were you thinking when that occurred? And you get it. You suddenly, you know what you were thinking, but now in this place, you feel what the other person was feeling. Wow. You feel what they were feeling, and you feel what you were feeling, and in fact, you can feel what everybody in the room was feeling. And then there are some clips from when you were in junior high and high school. It all makes sense now. that teacher wasn't really just picking on you. You feel the teacher. The teacher feeling like, I'm old, I'm not sure I can really do my job anymore, but I want the kids to do well, and how can I be the most even though I'm teaching in pain every day? And you know exactly what the teacher felt. And wow, no judgment. It's all okay. No stone incorrectly turned anywhere. And on through the rest of my life, clip after clip after clip. Wow. If I had a chance, I would do it differently. But then the movie is over and we're flying again through the stars like Star Trek, but even more so, whoosh, past stars. Looking down, you see planets. Wow, and it's not from our solar system. And every planet is different. Every planet has its own energy. Every planet has its own texture. Every planet has its own color. I can smell. I can taste every planet. And they're all good, just different. And they're all peopled with beings. And this greater light appears. This bigger light still, brighter than a million suns, and yet I can look into it, and yet it is, I can't describe this light. This is the God light. And this God light telepathically says, welcome home. And it surges all through your body. I am back home. This is where I belong. This is where I'm from. This is my home. I was just doing earth life for a while. This is my home. Oh, I am eternal. And I still feel that connection to everything. I had no idea I was this expanded. This is fantastic. And this light loves me. This light prizes me. And I'm prizing me, and I'm prizing everybody else. And I see the natural order, and I just let this love and connection wash over me and over me. I am the beloved, and I am loved. I am the drop having met the ocean. Am I ocean, am I drop? We are all one. And I have never been so loved. I am never leaving this place. And then the light says, it is not yet your time. You will have to go back to earth and back into your body. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to hear. And that great light starts fading. You still feel the glow, still glowing inside, and everything is beautiful, but it's starting to pull in. You were stretched out light years, and now you're pulling back in some. And then the descent. begins. You feel yourself going a little backwards, a little downwards, pulling back in, a little downwards, a little backwards. And that first light being guide, they lay their hand on your shoulder and say, you will be back. Remember who you are. This is your true home, your true nature. Farewell. And they vanish. And quickly now, pulling backwards, there's a strong suction. Collapsing back, getting smaller, pulling back. This feels a little strange, and it's getting kind of colder. Pulling back. Oh, wow, squishing back in, and there's a hand on your shoulder again. But it's a human hand, and it's the nurse. They're there now, she says. Don't worry. You're back in your body. We brought you back to life. And she's smiling. But you're not. Waves of disappointment roll across you. You wanted to stay in that supreme light forever. You didn't want to go back into your body. But you managed to open one eye and look across the room, and there sits a loved one. They've probably been here all night. And they are smiling, and they are so glad to see you are still alive. You're back in your body. It's joy to them. And so you manage to give a little wan smile. Boy, have I got something to tell you, you squeak out through a dry mouth. The most amazing thing just happened to me. But inside you think, how am I ever going to explain this? But you know it is real. The most real thing you have ever experienced in your life. And now, at home and here in this room, we're coming back into room consciousness. We're leaving the guided meditation behind and coming back into room consciousness. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Wiggle your shoulders, wiggle around a bit in your body. Anchor back into body. And we're going to take just a few seconds to let you run back in your mind while it's still fresh of one or two things that were very outstanding for you as you went through your simulated near-death experience. So we'll take 15 seconds of silence to let you do that. Very well. Back into your body. Take another breath with me, please. Breathing in. Shh. Ah. Now we're going to count to 3, and on 3 we'll open our eyes. Count with me, please, out loud, at home and here in the room. 1, 2, 3, and open eyes, please. Thank you. And back to Reverend Richard.
Thank you, Jerry. You know, many people have asked, we're going to have a dialogue here in just a moment about near-death experiences, and here we are in the midst of the season, a season of birth, where we're celebrating birth. Why would we have something like this? Well, because we know at Unity that birth and death are the same exercise. It is the same experience. It's two sides of the same coin. And so we felt it was, before we went into the time of reflection today, to light the candles of Advent, which is a time of darkness as well as a time of light, with no judgment of any of it being bad or good. It just is. And so for those who have joined us online, I hope that you were able to have an experience of both human emotion that could be labeled as dark, and an experience of the light that you are, the light that we all are as well, and know that neither is better than the other, but both are necessary energies as we flow into the next level of who we are meant to be, the next dimension of who we are meant to be. Here in the room, we're going to talk about near-death experiences, and I'm sure some of you have known somebody or maybe had an experience very similar to what Jerry walked through tonight. And we're going to talk about what those mean. I hope that you will join me. As I mentioned at the beginning, every Wednesday night is a little bit different, and this was very much different than what we typically do. But I invite you to put your thoughts into the chat on Facebook or on YouTube, wherever you happen to be watching. And those of you in the room, that you'll bring your thoughts forward as we have a dialogue here at the front of the sanctuary. I thank you for joining us this evening online. And if you'd like to make a contribution to support these out-of-the-box experiences on Wednesday night, I invite you to do that. Text to Give is a very easy way to show your appreciation. And those in the room, if you're not going to stay for the dialogue, there's just a couple of baskets in the back of the room, just a way to say thank you and let Jerry know you appreciate what he has done. But we're going to go into the dialogue portion right now, so I wish those of you online a wonderful evening. Come join me next Wednesday night. I will be back by myself and back at the piano next Wednesday, and I hope to see you then. Have a blessed and beautiful evening. Thanks for joining us. Those of you in the room, I'm going to invite you to maybe get a little closer.